Dr. Alveda King, niece of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., recalled Margaret Sanger's, founder of Planned Parenthood, racist and eugenicist politics in a Friday interview on SiriusXM's Breitbart News Tonight with host Rebecca Mansour and special guest host Rick Manning. Manning and Mansour asked King to address the Trump administration's Friday issuance of a rule regarding federal taxpayer funding of family planning. The new rule, issued by the Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, could block about $60 million of federal government funding for Planned Parenthood and other abortion providers. I was absolutely delighted, because now the regulations are being addressed and we are really seeing clearly where some of the money that Planned Parenthood gets from our tax dollars comes from, remarked King. King noted, Planned Parenthood gets over $500 million a year, and several million dollars a day in tax dollars. Some of that money does come out of Title X. So you have several million women who are served by organizations that are funded through Title X, Planned Parenthood getting a lion's share of that. King added, so what we in the pro-life movement have been saying for a long time, especially in the African American community, we said, okay, they don't use their Title X money specifically to do abortions, but they pay for many of the other things that they're doing, and that leaves some of their other funding streams available to do the abortions. King continued, so we knew there had to be some sort of regulation there to go ahead and fund those dollars to organizations that do not perform abortions, but give all of the other services like health screenings, opportunities being directed to other female health services, or to provide some of those services themselves without doing abortions on site, and that includes not just the surgical abortions, but the chemical and the medical abortions, as well. King went on, if you take away those tax dollars from those organizations that also provide abortions on site, even referrals for abortions under certain circumstances, if they're pressuring the women to get those referrals and get those abortions, that's going to prove to be a problem, as well. King anticipated Planned Parenthood's opposition to the aforementioned HHS directive. Planned Parenthood will try to fight it, and that's why I need the court of public opinion to kick in, stated King. They need to hear from the communities that understand what they have been doing. They're using our tax dollars to take care of their business and still provide those abortions. So we have to begin to blow that whistle to expose this. I think that the American community need to hear from folks who do not agree who are paying money to abortion providers with tax dollars. King declared, abortion is a crime against humanity, because the little baby in the womb is a human being. We know now from New York and Virginia with those measures that they were trying to do to even say, well, New York actually passed it and Virginia was on the way to passing it until the big scandal came with the governor, so even when the baby is born, if the intent was to abort the baby, then you keep the baby comfortable, and go ahead and let the baby die or help the baby die once the baby is born. So that is a crime against humanity. King said, abortion takes the life of a human being, and it is proven that that is a human being, a human byproduct. Science proves it, philosophy agrees, and certainly religion has been saying that a long time. If we can begin to connect those dots between abortion providers and tax dollars, then we're going to be able to give those services to organizations that do not abort children, predicted King. Mansour noted the racist, eugenicist vision of Margaret Sanger, Planned Parenthood's founder. King said, Margaret Sanger thought about the unfit, that included Negroes, as we were called at the time. The unfit, those who maybe had physical disability or some mental disability, or things like that. She wanted to erase all of that out of the human population, and her plan was, first, before abortion became legal, to have birth control measures, and the Negro Project, tying women's tubes and giving men vasectomies, free tubal ligations and free vasectomies in the Negro community. King added, people just don't know, Margaret Sanger was doing all that. She was also an advisor to the Ku Klux Klan. A lot of people don't know that. Roe v. Wade, scheduled for release in the fall of 2019. Its cast includes Stacey Dash, Robert Davi, Jaime Kennedy, and John Voight. So with all of those things going on with Planned Parenthood, I'm the executive producer of a new movie called Roe v. Wade, said King. It highlights the life of Dr. Mildred Fay Jefferson, the first black woman to graduate from Harvard School of Medicine, and helped to found the National Right to Life. King added, Dr. Bernard Nathanson, who was an abortion provider, very notorious, had an epiphany. He woke up, had a spiritual experience, and stopped doing abortions. Roe v. Wade tells how that horrible deal, a very bad deal, became law. It's coming out in the fall. The cast of the movie Roe v. Wade includes Stacey Dash, Robert Davi, Jaime Kennedy, and John Voight.